Not apathy, not disengagement, and this is where I feel a lot of people get this wrong. We're not quite symmetrical today, which is annoying me. The smart light bulb that I have in this lamp broke, like it just stopped working. So we don't have two functioning lamps. So we have some flowers and a candle. So I would sit with my little sugar-free lemonade and have a chat with you guys. I have been doing client calls all morning this morning, and this topic came up in the second call that I had today with one of my clients. And she's one of my longer term clients. So our chats tend to go a little bit deeper than just like nutrition and training information. We tend to dive a lot more into the mindset around like how she approaches life, how she approaches work, all of these sort of things. And if some of you have seen recently, I have done a little bit of a upheaval of my life and my image and how I dress and everything. I got sick of being so nonchalant about it. I got sick of being so blasé about it. I got sick of not putting in as much effort as I want to and not showing myself as like what I would call like my authentic favorite version of myself. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see that I've gone a little bit nuts on there, but it gives you more look into like my style and all the things like that. And I really noticed that having this mindset of detachment, and I'm going to circle back to this and talk this through in a little more depth and with a little more nuance, has made a huge difference for me. And it's not that I don't care. I'm leaning more into me. So today I wanted to talk about like that as a concept and how we can apply that into your life, because the more and more people that I've been speaking to, like it's gonna sound so weird, but I keep running into people who I've known for maybe not like years, but like a couple of months, and I have to reintroduce myself. Like they look at me and I'm like, oh, Carlos, don't you recognize me? It's Rachel. And he's like, whoa, like, you know, and that has happened multiple times now, because I think it's not just about how you dress. It's not just about how you're doing your hair. It's an energy. It's a way you carry yourself, a way you present yourself, and a way you show up in the world. Before I go too much further, I wanted to quickly thank today's video sponsor, Squarespace. My website is built on Squarespace, and I've been using them for about a decade now. They're an all-in-one website builder and host that you can use to get your web presence off the ground in a simple way that is so easy to navigate. They have custom templates that you can use. You can apply your branding. They have a fluid engine, so when you want to customize the layout, it's super easy. Drag and drop, no fuss, no muss. You don't have to do any coding if you don't know it. On top of that, they also have a customer support service team. So if you need help, you can jump on there and they will get you sorted. And on top of that as well, they have incredible SEO tools and the ability to easily integrate e-commerce into your website. So for anyone who wants to stand out and sell on the web, this is a fantastic option. I do have a discount code available for you, which you can use, but jump in, set up a free trial, see how you feel about it. I guarantee it is so easy to use and you will have your web presence up in next to no time. And when you're ready to hit publish, you can use the link that I put on the screen or in the description box, and that will give you a discount off your first purchase. I think the idea of detachment itself is rooted in lots of philosophical and spiritual practices. It can go from aloof indifference to serene acceptance, like, and the whole range in between. But I honestly think there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Like you go on YouTube and you look about like how to level up your life, or like how to master detachment. And a lot of them focus more on like interpersonal relationships or romantic relationships and that sort of thing. And also like when I was looking at other people's videos months ago, I was like, I don't want to take life advice from some 21-year-old. I've lived a lot more life, and I'm not saying that I know better than someone, but I feel like, you know, things that other people mention, I've made those mistakes. I've had those beliefs. You know, I've lent into that and it didn't work the way that it was supposed to. So I wanted to come to you with my perspective and my experience, being someone in their 30s, offering you just like a slice of my experience. I'm not saying it's what you should do. I'm not saying this is the right way and other ways are wrong ways, but I just wanted to share some things with you. Now, I want you to lean into the idea of when you want to level up your life, or when you want to improve something, or when you want to like reinvent something, we need to learn how to practice detachment. Not apathy, not disengagement, and this is where I feel a lot of people get this wrong. Because what I've noticed and what I hear in a lot of advice and a lot of stuff online is people say, just let go of it. Just let go of it. You know, what's for you will find you, just let go of it. And I'm going to say, don't just let go of everything. Don't detach from your goal. You're allowed to want your goal. But what I'm going to say instead is detach from how you're going to get there. we're going to detach from the how, we're going to detach from the when, we're not going to detach from the what. Because what, you're telling me you're not going to take control of your life. You're just going to let the ebbs and flows steer you in every direction, and you're not going to have a set target or a set goal. Like, that doesn't sound good to me. At its core, I feel like moving into this headspace should allow you to let go without losing yourself. And if anything, it will give you more room to find yourself. And it's not a state of numbness, it's not a state of nothing. Instead, what I want you to think of this as is the acknowledgement of impermanence. And a recognition that sometimes clinging to the wrong things is going to bring you suffering. And I've been that person before in relationships and things like that, where I will hang on too long. I'm like, we can fix things, we can sort it out. Let's try. Like, I will leave things with claw marks all over them because I would try to hang on to them too tightly. And I feel like on the opposite end of that spectrum, people think of like, oh, I'm going to level up, I'm going to focus on detachment as a way of like severing everything off, but it shouldn't be about that. It doesn't mean cutting emotional ties. It doesn't mean ditching all your responsibilities, because that's not realistic. What we're trying to do is foster inner freedom in the middle of external fluctuation. We're not going for this icy detachment from the world. We're not retreating into a void that is empty of any emotional resonance, because that's not life. We can't just cut something, ignore it, and then think that things will be okay. That's not how our emotions work. That's not how our relationships work. That's not how our goals work. What I want you to think of when you're trying to level up your life, when you're trying to step into a better version of yourself, is I want you to have a profound and deep engagement with every single day. That's why, like, I know it sounds silly, but in the other video I was talking about, like, I just want to get dressed. I just want to do my makeup. I just want to do my hair. I just want to, like, you know, on the mornings that I can, if I have a free morning, I'm going to go down to a coffee shop and do my work. And I'm going to get all dressed and go and sit and have a little drink while I do my work. I'm going to light a candle. I'm going to get myself some fresh flowers. I'm going to put on a playlist while I'm cooking. Deeply engaged in your own life, in a way almost romanticizing your own life. And this is just going to engage mindful presence. We're making every day just like a little bit special. And I honestly think, like, if you want to feel better in yourself, if you want to feel more confident, if you want to feel proud of what you're doing, engage more deeply within your life. Don't retreat, don't pull back, don't ignore. Really get in there and set up every day in a way that you want it. I've really applied this same mentality of detachment to my fitness journey as well. I found that true progress emerges not only from like the physical exertion and those little daily habits like your meals and your sleep and all of that sort of thing, but also just the willingness to release attachments and to release expectations and just to lean into something and say, let's see what happens. And I think it's really exciting when we get to that point, not just in fitness, but in any part of life, allowing like a more profound connection with our body. And then also a deeper sense of fulfillment, because we know why we're doing the actions. We're not forcing ourselves to do them. And like I said, we're deeply engaged in every single day, but we've relinquished that expectation of, you know, the pressure of what has to happen in this situation. I think if we took the concept as many people present detachment and applied it to fitness, it would look like indifference toward your goals. I think it's about finding a balance between striving for improvement, but also accepting the present moment with gratitude. And I find this is such a good way to start to dissolve that perfectionist mindset, which is something that I struggled with for a really long time. Like, especially, you know, years and years ago when I was dealing with emotional eating, the thing that really threw me off is like, I would have this emotional eating experience, I would overeat, and then the next day I would feel bad about overeating, and it was more likely that the same thing would happen again. It became almost like a self-punishment type of thing, like a self-fulfilling prophecy, like, oh, you can't stick to this and you don't have willpower and yada yada yada. Whereas now I don't have any emotional eating anymore, but if I go out and or let's say there's like an unplanned meal or something happens, or I'm out at a lunch and I'm just gonna have a meal, whatever. I just have it. I make the best choice that I can make in that situation. I'm detached from the expectation. I go, okay, well, what have we got here to choose from? What's the best choice I can make in this situation? And then I move on, and then I get home and I don't feel bad about it, and I just continue on with the rest of my day. I'm detached from that idea of having to be perfect in order to make progress. A journey is gonna have ebbs and flows. We're not going to be able to be black and white thinkers about this, because that's not life, and that's not how we can approach daily situations. We need to know, okay, how do I eat when I go to a restaurant? What happens when I travel? What can I do? If I'm stuck and I've run out of groceries, do I always have a few little things in my cupboard that I can whip together something really fast until I have time to go out and get those groceries? I'm sorry I'm talking with my hands so much today. I'm just really passionate today. And it's the same thing with your workouts. If you feel like, oh, I'm just going in because, you know, I want this certain result from my workout, or I have this really strong expectation of what I want to get from this workout, sometimes that's gonna make it suck. Instead, approach it as an opportunity for growth. What's possible with today's workout? Can I get a few more reps? Can I get a better mind-muscle connection? If we can detach from that fixation from the outcomes, from like, oh, I need to be at this certain clothing size, or I need to lose 10 kilos before my friend's wedding, or I need to never eat sugar ever again. If we can detach from that idea, we're actually gonna cultivate a deeper relationship to ourselves in the process. I feel really vulnerable sharing this, but like, I never used to post like how I looked so much, because when I first started my YouTube channel, people would always like pick on me. They're like, oh, your arms are big and this and that and the other. I'm like, I know my arms are big, whatever. I got bullied online so much when I first started my YouTube channel that it really made me like pull back a lot and get really scared about what I was sharing. And, you know, I would sometimes share like workout bits and pieces in my Instagram stories and things like that. But being completely honest with you, the things that people said to me, and I'm a sensitive person. Like deep down, I'm a very, very sensitive person, and I build these walls around it to protect her. Like, you know, like as someone who has autism and ADHD, like I have a hard enough time navigating the world as it is. And then like you throw all the complexities in there of like being on social media and getting all these random people's opinions and whatever. And it's a whole thing, right? Anyway, so it made me super self-conscious about like posting my body online. And when I lent into this more like detachment mindset, this was a side effect that I didn't even realize would happen. It allowed me to release the idea of comparison and of competition, which I didn't even realize that I was doing. But I think comparison was definitely there, because I'd see other people online and be like, oh, I can't share what I'm doing because I'm not at this level yet and it's not good enough and blah, blah, blah. And you know, some days, I think I had this in another vlog, like there's still some days where I'm like, oh, I'm not at my goal yet, so I don't feel so great. But like, that's not every day. And like what I've started doing now is just filming things for fun and sharing things for fun and just enjoying where my body is and this part of my fitness journey anyway. Like detaching from the need to be validated by other people. I'm just like, I like how I look. I like how I look. So let me just share it. And I know it will be different if you're not like posting yourself online, but just like even think about like taking a photo with your friends. Like how many times have you stood with your friends and they've taken a group photo and you're like, oh, I don't like how I look in that. That is your body in this present moment. It's not always going to be your body. I think one of the most profound ways this idea of detachment has sort of helped me level up as well is in my mindset, and it's letting go of the fear of failure. Just fully letting go, like just going, I don't care. Like, oh, I'm gonna upload a post, what if it does bad? No, I don't care. And I was actually saying this, when was I saying this? I was saying it a while, I think it might have been in an Instagram story. It's like, for me, this detachment very much, I had to talk myself through it. I always have to say, I don't care. And I do care, but I don't care about particular things, if you get what I mean. Like, I say, okay, like I know that as part of this deficit, I'm not in a deficit anymore, but I know as part of this deficit, I need to do my cardio. I don't feel like doing it. I just did a lifting session. I don't want to go on the treadmill. I don't care. Do it. That's your goal. Or like, oh, like, you know, I've got my meals, but like, and the amount of times this year I've said to myself, like, I don't care is actually a little bit funny, because it's like, I do care and I care very, very deeply about my goal, but I don't care so much about the process of getting there. I don't care so much about being perfect with it. I don't care so much about what other people think of what I am doing. And I think that's where we experience the true freedom. I think then that's where we experience the true detachment. And that works in interpersonal relationships as well, like letting go of the expectation of what does someone else think of me? Are they paying attention to me? Think of it in dating. Oh my goodness. Like if you can detach and like not be so worried about someone else, people are just drawn to your energy rather than you having to chase other people the whole time. In essence, detachment is not a renunciation, but it's a realization. And I want you to remember that. True freedom lies in letting go. And if you're stuck with like setting your goals or setting things up, or you don't know like how to step into that next level version of yourself, I do have that Phoenix formula template. I always do it twice a year. So I did January to June, and this weekend I'm actually going to sit and do the June one. It's a little bit late. I didn't have time the last couple of weeks, but I'm going to sit and do June until December. I always love to do it twice a year just to go, okay, what's happened? What do I want to happen? And how do I step forward and continue to progress and continue to get better? So while you're trying to level yourself up, don't look outward. Don't look at what other people are doing. Don't look at what other people see as important. I want you to take this as a journey inward. We each have our own wisdom. We each have our own guidance. We know what we need. We know what we want. We know what we deserve. Embrace the ebbs and flows of life with grace and move through them. Don't keep your claw marks in everything like I used to do, and just know, like, if you want something, it might come to you in a way that you weren't expecting. Because I know for me, the last 6 months, that is definitely what's been happening. Like, all the goals that I had, I'm achieving them, but not in the way that I thought I would. So it's been very interesting to let go of that expectation and just lean in, follow that path of least resistance with my goals still in mind, and see how much easier the process is because I'm not fighting everything along the way. I know this was a little bit of a rambly one, but it was something that I just wanted to share with you, especially after that discussion that I was having with my client this morning. I love hearing from you guys on Instagram after you've watched my videos. I know some of you messaged me on there and let me know your thoughts. You can leave a comment here. I haven't been replying to comments on here so much anymore because I've been spending more time on Instagram. So if there's anything you want to add or any questions or any way you want me to expand on this, maybe send me a message or a voice note on Instagram. Anyway, I'll catch up with you guys soon.